The story of Prophet Yusuf. Peace be upon him. A tale of divine providence and forgiveness. In the land of Canaan, Jacob lived with his 12 sons, and among them, Yusuf was dearly beloved. One day, Yusuf spoke to his father, saying, "O my father, I saw 11 stars and the sun and the moon, and I saw them falling down before me." His father, wise and cautious, replied, "O my dear son, do not relate your vision to your brothers, or they will devise a plot against you. Surely Satan is a worn enemy to humankind." Yusuf was chosen by Allah, in his infinite mercy, who taught him the interpretation of dreams, a gift that would guide him through many trials. Yet even as divine favor shone upon him, the signs in his life bore lessons for every seeker of truth. It was not long before Yusuf's brothers, envious of the special affection their father showed him, began to resent him. They whispered among themselves that Yusuf and his beloved brother Benjamin were dearer to their father than they were, even though Jacob had 12 sons in total. Blinded by jealousy, they hatched a dark plan. Some proposed that Yusuf should be killed, while another, softer of heart, suggested instead that they should cast him into the depths of a remote well. They reasoned that perhaps a passing caravan would find him and take him away, so that their father might eventually come to cherish only them. That very day, the brothers approached their father with false concern. "O our father, why do you not entrust us with Yusuf? Although we truly wish him well, send him with us tomorrow so that he may enjoy himself and play, and we will really watch over him." But Jacob, pained by the thought of losing his cherished son, replied, "It grieves me to see you take him away. I fear that a wolf might devour him if you do not guard him." Yet their hearts were hardened. They said, "If the wolf devours him, despite our strong group, we will truly be the losers." So they took Yusuf away under the cover of day. They planned to throw him into the well, and with a secret sign from Allah, assuring that his deed would someday be revealed, they set their plot in motion. By evening, with heavy hearts and tears in their eyes, they returned to their father claiming, "O our father, we were racing together and left Yusuf behind with our belongings. Then the wolf devoured him, but you will not believe us, no matter how truthful we are." To support their deceit, they smeared false blood on his shirt. Jacob, though broken with grief, saw through their plan and said, "No, your souls must have tempted you to do something evil, so I can only endure with beautiful patience. It is God's help that I seek to bear your claims." Fate, however, had other plans. A caravan passed by, and its water-bearer, lowering his bucket into the well, exclaimed, "Oh, what a great find! Here is a boy!" They hid Yusuf like precious merchandise and sold him for a meager sum of silver coins. The man from Egypt who purchased him spoke gently to his wife, "Take good care of him. Perhaps he may be useful to us, or we may adopt him as a son." Thus began Yusuf's journey in Egypt. In time, Allah granted him wisdom and the ability to interpret dreams. As he matured into a handsome and discerning young man, he earned a reputation for honesty and integrity even in the darkest of circumstances. While serving in the house of the Egyptian noble, often known as Aziz, Yusuf encountered a grave trial. The lady of the house, Zuleha, overwhelmed by his noble character and striking appearance, sought to seduce him. One day, she locked the doors and called out, "Come to me." Yusuf, steadfast in his faith, replied, "I seek refuge in Allah. It is not right to betray my master, who has taken good care of me." Indeed, the wrongdoers never succeed. In the ensuing struggle, as they both rushed to the door, Zuleha tore Yusuf's shirt from behind. At that moment, her husband arrived at the door, outraged and confused. She declared, "What is the penalty for someone who tried to violate your wife?" "Except imprisonment or a painful punishment." Yusuf calmly maintained, "It was she who tried to seduce me against my will." A witness from her household was called to testify. If his shirt is torn from the front, then she has told the truth, and he is a liar. But if it is torn from the back, then she has lied and he is speaking the truth. When it was seen that Yusuf's shirt was torn from behind, the verdict was clear. The man lamented, "Truly, this is a cunning plot of you women. Your plotting is indeed great. O Yusuf, forget about this. And you, O wife, seek forgiveness for your sin. It certainly has been your fault." News of this incident spread, and some women in the city remarked, "The wife of the Aziz is trying to seduce her slave boy. Love for him has plagued her heart. Indeed, we see that she is clearly mistaken." Not long after, Zuleha, desperate to justify herself, sent out invitations and prepared a grand banquet. She armed each guest with a knife and commanded Yusuf, "Come out to them." When the guests saw Yusuf, they marveled at his beauty and purity, exclaiming, "Allah preserve us! This cannot be human? He is nothing less than a noble angel." Yet Zuleha warned, "This is the one for whose love you criticized me. I did try to seduce him, but he firmly refused. If he refuses to do as I command, he will certainly be imprisoned and fully disgraced." Yusuf prayed, "O my Lord, I would rather be in jail than do what they invite me to, and if you do not turn their cunning away from me, I might yield to them and fall into ignorance." Moved by his steadfast faith, his Lord answered Yusuf's plea and turned away the wicked plots. For indeed, Allah is the all-hearing, the all-knowing. After this trial, Yusuf was cast into prison, a dark place where two young men, fellow prisoners, also awaited their fate. One of them said, "I dreamed that I was pressing wine," while the other declared, "I saw myself carrying bread on my head, from which the birds devoured the crumbs." They pleaded with Yusuf, "Please, tell us the meaning of our dreams, for we see you to be one of the righteous." Yusuf replied, "I can even tell you what kind of meal you will be served before you receive it. This knowledge is from what Allah taught me. I have abandoned the beliefs of those who deny Allah and the hereafter. I follow the faith of my fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is not right for us to associate partners to Allah. This, my friends, is part of Allah's grace upon us and humanity, but most people are not grateful. O my fellow prisoners, which is far better, many different lords or Allah, the One, the Supreme? Whatever idols you worship instead of Him are mere names which you and your forefathers have made up. Allah has sent no authority for that. The judgment is His alone. He has commanded that only He be worshipped. That is the true faith, even if most people do not know it. O my fellow prisoners, the first one of you will serve wine to his master, and the other will be crucified, and the birds will eat from his head. The matter about which you inquired has been decided." To the one he believed would be set free, Yusuf advised, "Mention me in the presence of your master." But Satan made him forget to mention Yusuf's name, and so he remained in prison for several more years. Time passed, and eventually the king of Egypt was troubled by a perplexing dream. He saw 7 fat cows being devoured by 7 lean cows, and 7 green ears of grain alongside 7 dry ones. Calling upon his advisors, he demanded, "O you in authority, explain my dream if you can interpret dreams." They replied, "It is a jumble of dreams. We are not the ones who interpret dreams." Then, one of the king's officials, who had once been in prison with Yusuf and had been released, remembered Yusuf's gift. He said, "I will inform you of the interpretation. Send forth to Yusuf." The king summoned Yusuf, saying, "O truthful Yusuf, explain to us the meaning of the 7 fat cows devoured by 7 lean cows, and of the 7 green ears of grain and the 7 dry ones, so that I may return to my people with the knowledge." Yusuf explained, "You will plant grain for 7 consecutive years, in the ear whatever you will harvest, except for the little you will eat. Then after that will come 7 years of great hardship, which will consume whatever you have saved, except the little you will store for seed. Then after that will come a year in which people will receive abundant rain, and they will press oil and wine." Impressed by his wisdom, the king declared, "Bring him to me." However, when a messenger approached, the king cautioned, "Return to your master and ask him about the case of the women who cut their hands. Surely my lord has full knowledge of their cunning." The messenger then questioned the women, "What was your conduct when you attempted to seduce Yusuf against his will?" They responded, "Allah preserve us, we did nothing wrong to him." But the wife of the Aziz confessed, "Now the truth has come to light. I did try to seduce him, and he is indeed one of the truthful. Surely my lord is all-forgiving, most merciful." The king, moved by Yusuf's integrity and insight, said, "Bring him to me, I will keep him for myself." After a long conversation, the king assured Yusuf, "From this day onward you are safe with us and shall enjoy our trust." Yusuf then requested, "Place me in charge of the treasuries of the land, for I am truly reliable and adept." Thus, Allah elevated Yusuf to power in Egypt. He resided where he wished, and Allah's grace never failed those who remained righteous. The promise of reward in the hereafter was assured for those who believed and feared Allah. Years later, Yusuf's brothers, now burdened by guilt and hardship, came to Egypt seeking relief from a severe starvation. They did not recognize Yusuf, who now held great authority. After providing for their needs, he said, "Bring me your brother from your father's side. Do you not see that I give full measure and am the best of hosts? But if you do not bring him to me next time, I will have no grain for you, nor will you ever come close to me again." The brothers schemed yet again, saying, "We shall try to separate him from our father." At Yusuf's command, his servants were told, "Place their money in their saddlebags so that they may recognize it when they return to their families. Perhaps they will come back." Returning to their father, they pleaded, "O our father, we have been denied further supplies. Send our brother with us so that we may receive our full measure, and we will definitely watch over him." When they were provided for, their father replied, "Should I trust you with him as I once trusted you with his brother Yusuf? But only Allah is the best protector, and he is the most merciful." When they opened their bags, they discovered that their money had been returned to them. Their father insisted, "I will not send him with you until you give me an oath by Allah that you will certainly bring him back to me, unless you are totally overpowered." When they entered Yusuf's presence, he called his brother Bunyamin aside and confided to him, "I am indeed your brother Yusuf, so do not feel distressed about what they have been doing." When Yusuf had provided them with supplies, he placed the king's cup in the saddlebags of his brother. Later an announcer proclaimed, "O camel drivers, you are truly thieves." They asked, "What is it that you have lost?" And they replied, "We have lost the king's cup. Whoever returns it shall bear a camel's load. I give you my word." They insisted, "By Allah, you know we did not come to sow corruption in the land. We are not thieves." Yet, when questioned about the penalty for lying, they were told, "The price will be the enslavement of the one in whose bag the cup is found. That is how we punish the wrongdoers." When the sacks were searched, the cup was found in the possession of Yusuf's brother Bunyamin. This arrangement was no accident. It was determined by Allah so that the king's law might take its course, as no one could have held back Yusuf's brother except by Allah's will. We raise in rank whom we will, but above those ranking in knowledge is the one all-knowing. The brothers, now filled with remorse, argued, "If he has stolen, then surely his brother has stolen before." But Yusuf kept the secret in his heart, saying, "Indeed, you are even more guilty. Allah knows best the truth of what you claim." They then pleaded with the noble Yusuf, "He has an aged father. Take one of us instead, for we see that you do good." Yusuf replied, "Allah forbid that we take another in place of the one in whose belongings we found our things. Otherwise, we would be unjust." When hope seemed lost, the eldest brother spoke in private. "Do you not know that our father took an oath in the name of Allah, and that you have failed in your duty toward Yusuf? I will not leave this land until our father permits me or Allah decides it for me. Return to our father and say, 'O our father, your son has stolen. We have spoken only what we knew. We could not guard against the unforeseen. Inquire in the city where we stayed and with the caravan with which we came, for surely we speak the truth.'" Jaqub, overcome with sorrow yet patient in his faith, said, "No, your souls must have tempted you to do something evil, so I am left with nothing but patience. Allah will bring them all to me, for He is the all-knower, the all-wise." He then turned away, lamenting, "O my sorrow over Yusuf." Even as his eyes filled with grief, he restrained himself, knowing deep in his heart that Allah's plan was at work. Jaqub cried for so long, very weak-sighted. He said, "O my sons, go and search for Yusuf and his brother, and do not lose hope in the mercy of Allah. For no one loses hope in Allah's mercy, except those with no faith." When they entered Joseph's presence, they pleaded, "O chief minister, we and our family have been touched with hardship, and we have brought only a few worthless coins. But please give us our supplies in full and be charitable to us." Indeed, God rewards the charitable. He asked, "Do you remember what you did to Joseph and his brother in your ignorance?" They replied in shock, "Are you really Joseph?" He said, "I am Joseph, and here is my brother Benjamin. God has truly been gracious to us. Surely whoever is mindful of God and patient, then certainly God never discounts the reward of the good doers. They admitted, by God, God has truly preferred you over us, and we have surely been sinful. Joseph said, there is no blame on you today. May God forgive you. He is the most merciful. Go with this shirt of mine and cast it over my father's face, and he will regain his sight. Then come back to me with your whole family. Before long, a messenger announced that Yusuf had been found. With a heavy yet hopeful heart, Jaqub was reassured by the familiar scent of his beloved son. When the garment was placed on Jaqub's face, the old man regained his sight. Overwhelmed by both joy and regret, Jaqub and his sons were reunited with Yusuf. When the long-awaited reunion came, Yusuf embraced his family and said, come, move to Egypt in safety as Allah wills. He raised his parents to a place of honor, and they bowed before him. Then Yusuf revealed, O my father, this is the interpretation of the dream I once had. My Lord has fulfilled it. He treated me kindly when he freed me from prison and brought you all from the desert after Satan had ignited rivalry between my brothers and me. Truly my Lord is gracious to whomever he wills, for he is the all-knowing, the all-wise. O my Lord, you have granted me authority and taught me the interpretation of dreams. O Creator of the heavens and the earth, you are my protector in this world and in the hereafter. Let me die in submission and reunite me with the righteous. A wise lesson. In Yusuf's journey from a cherished son betrayed by his brothers to a man elevated by divine wisdom, we learn that even in the face of betrayal and hardship, steadfast faith and patience can transform trials into triumphs. His life teaches us that no scheme of evil can overcome the will of Allah, and that forgiveness, humility, and trust in divine wisdom are the keys to true success and reconciliation. May we all take to heart the lesson that adversity, when met with faith, paves the way for divine mercy and everlasting hope.